why is it that people who struggle end up pursuing great feats? I mean, I have an answer of my own, but do you have?
Why do people struggle? Because they are working against that friction.
Right, because they grow up with the idea that they're lacking somehow. And for the first however many years, 20 years, 30 years of their life, they're spending time focusing on
working on themselves.
Working on themselves and gaining attributes that they think they don't have, which in actuality they do have, but because they were brought up in such a way and not able to be shown that they have those attributes, they have to now figure it out for themselves, which makes them hungrier and makes them, I mean, there obviously there are negative side effects to that in the sense that they are really hard on themselves. I, for example,
like immigrants, for example.
Right. I, for example, am very hard on myself. I'm barely ever sarisfied, which is not a great thing, but it is a good thing in the sense that I work harder for everything that I do. But it's not a great thing because it can mess with self-esteem. You can be like, well, I'm a dirty piece of shit and nothing's gonna happen. But the truth of the matter is that if you block that out and you kind of gain a certain kind of confidence, because I'm doing this because I need to learn how to do this. I need to be better at this. But I'm a good dude because I'm confident that I'm gonna get this done. You learn how to balance it. It takes time to figure that out. But
the balancing act of it.
The truth of the matter is that the most successful people who actually pursue their ideas are the people who struggle, or the people who come from everything because they know how to have it, because it comes easily to them. And that, I think, is the most important factor.
Acquired experience.
Right. That, I think, is the most important factor when it comes to the idea. Because the only way that you're going to pursue that idea is if you tap into the struggles that you've been through in life, struggles or non-struggles or whatever, or what have you, or the fact, like, actually the two differences, struggling and not struggling, as far as like a background and growing up. Struggling, you need to prove yourself, you want to live a better life. Not struggling, you need to prove yourself, you want to show your parents that you can do it without them.
But that's also a struggle.
It is a struggle. But I'm saying that those are the similarities between the two. And the truth of the matter is that if in order for you to pursue this, whatever idea you have, given the fact that you're passionate about it, you have to be passionate about it, and you have to be motivated and dedicated to it. So if you are motivated, dedicated, and passionate, the next thing that I would say that you have to do is look deep down at how far you've come from point A to point B, and tap into that struggle and tap into that climb, that uphill climb that you put to
use that as like a vehicle,
right?
To push
to
your
make
idea.
You the person that you are. If you just come up with an idea and just like, it's an idea of mine. Okay, screw you. You're not gonna get it out.
Yeah, but like, who am I to make an idea?
I mean, what were you gonna say?
No, because a lot of people will think, oh, I have an idea, but like, who am I?
Yeah, exactly. And I've said that to myself many times.
And most people are nothing until they make their idea something.
Right. Exactly. So I've said to myself many times, it's a struggle. It's not easy. It takes time. Everything takes time. Finding the right person to marry takes time. You have to you have to sift through the bullshit in order to get to the promised land. Same thing happens with exercise. You got to sift through the bullshit to get to the promised land. Same thing happens with diet and health, losing weight, pursuing an idea, building a business. Exactly. Everyone likes to skip those things, and that's the truth of the matter.
Skipping steps never works.
You can't skip steps. And like that's really what that's what I have to say. Like my so I guess we have 3 tips. The 3 tips that I would give as far as building an idea is, obviously you have the idea. Make sure that you're both passionate, motivated, and dedicated to it. The next thing I would say is to write it down in detail.
Yeah.
And then before you pursue it, make sure that you dig real deep and dig deep down to see how far you come. Channel that energy and say, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example of how to tap into that energy, let's say that you were overweight and you wanted to lose weight and you wanted to diet and you started and it was discouraging. It was hard.
Which is an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea. There you go.
I wanna lose weight.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
I wanna lose weight. And you started dieting and you started craving a lot of foods that you no longer are allowed to eat, and you don't see results. 1 week passes, you see nothing. 2 weeks pass, you see something a little bit slightly, but nothing too crazy to keep going. But you're like, I'm going to continue, I'm going to determine. and you do it, and you start dieting better, then you start losing weight, but then you're unsatisfied because you lost a little bit of weight, but you didn't lose the weight that you wanted to lose, and you're like, when the hell is this going to happen? I mean, that in essence is, if you can work out for a month straight and see the differences between the first day you started and day number 30, look back at that accomplishment and channel that energy towards what you want to do.
Meaning that you're piggybacking off of a previous success to launch your next
100%. You're piggybacking. You're using all of your achievements as fuel to move forward. That is the only way that you can pursue an idea.
Right.
Do you have
that's the
anything
next
to
step
add?
For an idea.
Like, no, just on top of that.
So I just keep going back to that thought. Like, the next, something that I would add on to it, like we already said, that speak to somebody. It's just bouncing the ideas, and also you want to find someone. Like, if you have a specific idea, like I'll tell you an idea that I'm working on. I'm not gonna tell you specifics about it, but I'm still working on it. I talk about it a lot. Launching a satellite.
Oh yeah.
Into space. Like whenever I say it, everyone laughs at me.
I laughed a little bit just now.
Yeah, he just laughed at me. He's like, oh, he's gonna put up a satellite.
But I believe it. But as much as
so part of what I'm doing now is obviously I'm not even doing market research on it. I'm learning about it. I'm learning about the concept of how a satellite works.
So you're passionate about it.
I'm learning about how it stays up in the air. And I've been following stuff, like I've been learning about how the International Space Station
stays up. Didn't you send
me
a picture yesterday of the International Space Station?
So I've been following it, and maybe 2 or 3 times a day, you could visibly see it through the passing by in the sky at certain times a day. So I'm learning about how orbits work, which orbit do I want the satellite to go into, and I'm at the same time, besides for doing research into the idea, which is something. It's before market research. It's like learning about your idea.
Right.
And part of learning about your idea is looking for people who are experienced in that realm.
Right.
And talking to them and bouncing your idea off them and see what they think. You're still in the idea stage. It's just another level of development of your idea.
So I guess if you're gonna share what you're doing, I'll share what I'm doing personally for myself. I'm
just one of my ideas.
I'm big into fair enough. I'm big into health and fitness and being in shape and being healthy. And I've been working out for a while. I think when I first really started working out was with you when we were doing Insanity.
Hi, Shop Time.
And it was good. But for me, it's like I want more. I want to be more dedicated. I want to build my work ethic up. And I started working out 3 times a day, which takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, making sure you're eating the right foods, making sure you're on top of yourself, no matter how tired you are, just get it done, get it out of the way. And I started biking with my brother 3 times a week. I bike 26 kilometers 3 times a week.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you see the difference. You see, and I'm studying the health and fitness factor because and the reason, and this is why I like mentioning this, is that I try to get better and better at it because it fuels my motivation. It shows me how hard I can work and what I can get from that work so that I can then transfer that motivation and that accomplishment towards bigger and better dreams. And that is kind of what I'm working on. I mean, now that we've kind of you actually pinpointed it perfectly, everything that you want to do is an idea. We're not talking about business ideas right now. We're talking about ideas. I want to floss my teeth every day. Start one day at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Then once you get that down, you want to floss your teeth twice a day. So start doing it. You know what I mean? And then you see, oh, well, now it's part of my routine. It's part of what I do. It's part of my what's the word? Routine, I guess is the right word. But it's rituals. It's part of your ritual. Which is an important word, by the way, because because it's interesting. A lot of athletes or public speakers or musicians, what have you, they have certain rituals that they stick to that seem stupid to other people, but it gets them in that mindset of being creative, being innovative, doing these creative, insane things. People always that's the interesting thing is that talent doesn't last that long. Talent can only go so far.
Right.
It's about the dedication. It's about the passion. It's about what you actually want. And the idea is fueled by all of that.